Welcome everybody. It is Business Monday on a kind of grayish day in downtown Providence. I'm Josh Fenton, CEO of GoLocal Prov. Welcome to join us for the Small Biz Fuel segment. A couple little news items. Number 3 person over at the Rhode Island State Police, Joe Philbin, is stepping down. Lots of issues over at the State Police. There's a lot of coverage on that. Feel free to tune in. And also, take a look at the write-up on the visit to Savannah, Georgia. $42 each way, direct from TF Green, the easiest flight going, in just an amazing city. With me now is Jill Butler. She is the wavemaker guru over at Commerce RI, all-powerful. If you want money, she's got it. Wavemaker program, one of the most successful programs in the state government. Tremendously positive feedback about it. Give the overview to it.
Okay, so the Wavemaker Fellowship Program was established in 2015 to recruit and retain STEM and design talent here in Rhode Island by helping these young professionals pay off their student loan debt.
And really to fight against the brain drain.
Correct.
Rhode Island has had an ongoing problem of keeping its, we educate all these super smart young folks, we produce them, and then we want to keep them.
Yes, we want to, as Stefan says, our unfair share of talent.
Yes, that's right.
We want to keep our
We
unfair
want to
share.
hoard
Exactly.
talent, stack them up like wood.
Correct. STEM and design fields specifically. So anyone who is working in a STEM and design field in Rhode Island, at a company in Rhode Island, or who started a company related to STEM or design, can apply to the fellowship, and if they're selected, they can earn up to $6,000 back per year in a refundable tax credit to help them pay off their student loans.
How many, you mentioned beforehand, 800 through the program or in the program right now. And of those 800, how many of them are business starters, entrepreneurs themselves, a ballpark?
I would say less than 10%.
Less than 10%?
Yeah, for sure. And unfortunately, we're always trying to get more entrepreneurs, and the activity that's been going on in Providence and in Rhode Island in general over the past year or two has been very exciting for us to try to capture some of that talent. I'm actually heading to CIC later this week to meet with a couple folks. So, but yeah, 820 fellows have been accepted. That's spanning 299 companies. So we're almost at the 300 mark.
You're kind of like Bill Belichick going into yesterday.
Right.
He got his 300th win. You need that 300.
I just need
one
more company.
Right. Then you're there with Shula and Papa Bear Hollis and all the rest. This is a program that constantly we hear feedback when we talk to entrepreneurs on how positive it is and how critical it is to differentiate and give that sort of extra thing to be able to recruit talent and keep them here.
Yeah, the thumb on the scale, we like to call it. So obviously Providence can't always compete with the salaries of Boston and New York, but we also don't have the astronomical cost of living that you get when you go to Boston or New York. So we're hoping that this extra allocation of money becomes a decision-making factor in young professionals' decisions to start and grow their career in their future here in Rhode Island, and to start building their networks around not only their career but also their personal life and put down roots.
And of the 800 who have been selected or have gone through the program, because it's fundamentally a 2-year program, how many of them completed the 2 years, stayed all the way through?
So thus far we've had a 91% retention rate.
That's pretty good.
And there's certainly folks where the money is too good to pass up, where they may leave the state or their family has chosen to relocate for whatever reason. But in that number, there's also folks who have paid off their student loan debt completely with the help of this program. So if they got an allocation, they put it directly towards their principal, and then they're student loan debt free. So instead of spending that $800 to $1,000 a month on their student loan debt, they can now maybe buy a house or start that company they always wanted to start and never really had the opportunity to take that risk. So
that's great. Now, big change and a positive change I think everybody really feels good about is, instead of having a sort of hard deadline, drop dead annual, you're either in or you're out, now a more rotating cycle of applications and awards.
Correct. Yeah. Well, we're hopeful that the funding continues from the General Assembly and the sunsets are extended past 2020. But basically, when we first started, we partnered really closely with the colleges and universities who said from April to June, people are making decisions. That's when they're deciding, they're getting job offers, they're interviewing, So that's when our application cycle was happening, and now we realize that there's people making changes all over the calendar year. There's companies who have certain pushes at different parts of the year to start a fall cohort of sorts. So we're moving to a more frequent application process, which will hopefully allow us to capture some of that talent that's making decisions at different parts of the year, so that we can, again, be that thumb on the scale when they're making the decision to continue their career here in Rhode Island.
And then how well are the companies doing when they're recruiting somebody to say, oh, run over to this website, fill out this form, give them those 3 or 4 pieces of material that they need?
Certainly room for improvement there, to put it lightly. It's tough though. I mean, every company, just like any company, is going to be siloed. So unfortunately, I don't know the name of the HR manager's personal. I don't have their cell phone number in every company in Rhode Island.
You don't have every HR director's cell phone number.
Weird. So sometimes the communications can be a little bit off, but we're trying our best, and we have 820 brand ambassadors for the program now. So what we hear in the application cycle is that most of the new applicants to the program are finding out about it from previous fellows, and so we have some really great pushes coming from them to get their friends and their colleagues involved, because it's free money, so why not?
Absolutely. It allows Rhode Island to really begin to compete. It's one of those points that allows companies to differentiate, to kind of collect the talent. How can folks best participate?
Well, pay attention to our website, wavemaker.commerceri.com. But there's application cycles. We'll be, like Josh mentioned earlier, we're moving to more frequent application cycles. There is a due date this Friday for the most recent one. So if you work in a STEM or design function at a company in Rhode Island and you're paying your student loan debt, please submit an application. I think we do a lot of work on social media to hopefully promote the program in general. And then we have a lot of folks now with kind of overlapping other commerce programs. So small businesses that are interacting with commerce through the Small Business Loan Fund or the SBAP program. I know I'm talking in acronyms now, or Supply RI. We try to layer in that kind of communication as best we can.
You will definitely win the award for most acronyms spoken during an interview on the Small Biz Fuel. Talk a little bit about who is eligible. Everybody throws around the word STEM and design. Define it a little bit, and how far does it go?
I would say we have a pretty liberal application of STEM and design here. So the legislation obviously gives us guidance in saying science, technology, engineering, math, and then commercially relevant design fields here in Rhode Island. But that means everyone from accountants and financial experts to computer scientists to AI engineers to UX, UI designers. I'm just trying to get
boat
points
designers,
for the,
sort of
acronyms.
all these worlds of design.
And
so think of it liberally rather than strictly.
Correct, yeah. And I think the intent is, again, to support the burgeoning industries that we have here, and that are really the industries that have been identified through a lot of hard work from the administration to say, these are what we need to move forward. This is what's really going to drive Rhode Island forward as a whole, and this is where the future is. You know, if we can invest in this talent and invest in these people, they'll grow. They'll continue to grow their businesses. They'll continue to grow their communities. They're the future civic business community leaders of Rhode Island. So the more we can work to keep them here and to enrich them while they're here, the better.
Great, Jill. Let's just recap. How do they get in touch with you?
Well, you can call me at the Commerce Corporation, but wavemaker.commerceri.com is the best place. My email is jillian.butler@commerceri.com. It's very simple. I'm very accessible. And again, the deadline is November 1st for this most recent.
This Friday. Don't wait. Act now.
Yes, exactly. But wait, there's more.
You've done an awesome job building this program. Deserves a lot of congratulations on this, and it is one of the most aligned government programs with what the need is of businesses that are growing and emerging in Rhode Island. Thank you for coming in. I'll be back at 4 o'clock with Gary Sass, the money man. We'll be talking about the State House, Washington, D.C., and what's going on in the economy. We'll see you back at 4 o'clock. Thanks, everybody.